The galaxy had always been a place of power, of ancient civilizations stretching their influence across countless stars. Humanity, still young and relatively weak, had watched from the edges, enduring years of insults, exploitation, and being treated like an insignificant child by older empires. The Terran Council had sent countless messages to the Galactic Union, asking for respect, trade rights, and fair treatment. Every request had been ignored, every plea dismissed. The humans were patient, always patient, but patience had its limits. On the orbital city of Epsilon Prime, the human capital that floated like a jewel against the black of space, Commander Jareth Kellen gazed out of the Council Tower's wide observation window. The stars stretched endlessly before him, but he did not see beauty. He saw targets, challenges, and the arrogance of alien empires who believed humans could never stand up to them. The reflection of his tired face blurred against the glass. Around him, fleets of ships hovered silently. Massive cruisers, agile fighters, and transport vessels all ready for orders. The faint hum of engines felt almost like a heartbeat, slow and steady but building tension. "Do you think we're ready?" asked Lieutenant Mira Solon, her voice barely above a whisper. She leaned on the railing beside him, her hands gripping tightly as if holding herself together in the quiet before the storm. Her eyes flicked to the alien ships on distant orbits, ships that had once enslaved human colonies, stolen resources, and treated humans as nothing more than pests. Jareth's jaw tightened. "We don't have a choice. Every treaty we've signed, every colony we've given up, every insult we've endured, they think we are weak. Today we show them we are not." Below them, the city moved on as usual. Civilians laughed in the plazas. Children ran through gardens. Merchants haggled over goods, and cargo ships traced slow arcs between colonies. Humanity had lived under the watchful eyes of more powerful races for centuries, always careful, always polite. And yet, none of them realized that patience could turn into fire, that meekness could become defiance. Jareth turned to Mira, lowering his voice. "This is not just about survival anymore. It's about showing the galaxy that humans have limits, that we will not be pushed forever. One way or another, they will remember us." Mira nodded. She felt a shiver run down her spine, a mix of fear and determination. Every life in that city, every person unaware of the moment unfolding above them, was about to become part of history. Communications officers began intercepting signals from alien factions. The empires laughed at humans, calling them insignificant, a minor nuisance in the grand galactic order. Their arrogance was absolute. But the Terran Council was ready. A final broadcast was sent, cutting through layers of encryption echoing across countless star systems. One word repeated in dozens of alien languages, simple and powerful. "Enough." Across the galaxy, systems paused. Commanders stared at their consoles in disbelief. Even the most seasoned diplomats felt the weight of the message, realizing for the first time that humanity was not begging, not negotiating, but issuing a warning. Humanity's patience had ended. Jareth closed his eyes, feeling the pulse of the fleet, the collective determination of every soldier and ship ready to defend their species. For centuries, humanity had been underestimated, dismissed, treated as inconsequential, and now the galaxy would see the cost of that mistake. The stars, once calm and distant, now seemed alive with tension. The quiet hum of the human fleet, the determination in every soldier's eyes, and the unspoken promise of retaliation filled the void. Humanity had waited too long, suffered too much, and now, the calm before the storm had ended. And in that moment, the first spark of the coming war ignited, silent but unstoppable. The galaxy would learn that when humanity said enough, it meant war. The galaxy had held its breath, and now that silence shattered. Humanity did not wait for permission, did not plead or negotiate. The first move was theirs. In the outer rim of the Helios sector, a human fleet appeared as if from nowhere. Thousands of ships, sleek and deadly, moved with precision that betrayed decades of preparation. Their engines glowed faintly, leaving streaks of light against the dark canvas of space. Jareth Kellen stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, the enormity of what was about to happen pressing against his chest. "Target coordinates locked," announced Lieutenant Mira Solon. Her fingers danced across the console, eyes shining with resolve. "All enemy positions confirmed. Shall we proceed?" Jareth's gaze remained steady on the holographic map, the points of enemy fleets glowing red like angry stars. "Proceed," he said. There was no hesitation, no doubt. Humanity had waited too long. They had been patient, and the galaxy had mocked them. That would end today. The first strike was surgical. Human long-range cannons fired with calculated precision, hitting supply depots and communication hubs of the Zerithian collective. Explosions rippled through space like silent thunder, shattering the confidence of the older, arrogant race. Alien commanders blinked at their consoles, struggling to comprehend the scale of the attack. Their scouts, smug and certain just hours ago, were gone in moments. On Epsilon Prime, news feeds lit up with reports from the front. Citizens watched on screens, hearts racing, some in disbelief, some in pride. Children clutched their parents' hands as the first images of the human fleet's precision strike appeared. Humanity was not helpless. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was awake. And the universe had just learned a dangerous truth. Jareth felt the weight of command, but he did not falter. Every pilot, every engineer, every soldier in the fleet had been trained for this moment. They were not only fighting for survival, they were fighting for respect, for dignity, for the right to exist without fear. A Zerithian dreadnought appeared on the edge of the battlefield, massive and intimidating, bristling with weapons. Its commander, an ancient figure named Vorath, sneered at the human fleet. "These puny creatures think they can challenge us?" he growled, voice echoing across comm channels. "We will crush them before they even realize the meaning of war." Jareth's voice was calm but fierce. "Then let them try." The human fleet moved as one, coordinated and unstoppable. Fighters swarmed around the dreadnought, dodging energy blasts with agility no older empire expected from humans. Boarding pods fired, carrying elite marines trained for moments like this. Explosions ripped through the alien ship's hull, sending debris scattering like a deadly meteor shower. Vorath's confidence crumbled. He had underestimated the human spirit, their unpredictability, their refusal to bow. In the chaos, human ships protected civilians on nearby colonies, evacuating them even as the battle raged. It was a war, yes, but one guided by humanity's principles. Victory was important, but so was preserving life. That combination of cunning, courage, and morality struck terror into the Zerithians. They had never faced a race that could fight with such precision and still care for the innocent. Back on the bridge of the Resolute, Jareth allowed himself a small smile. Mira noticed and said quietly, "They thought this would be easy. They thought we would beg. They were wrong." He nodded. "We are not begging. We are not asking. We are claiming our place in this galaxy." And somewhere, deep in the reaches of space, the first tremors of fear began to ripple through empires who had believed themselves untouchable. Humanity had spoken, and the galaxy would never forget the day humans refused to kneel. The war had begun. The galaxy was no longer silent. It roared with the chaos of conflict, echoing across star systems that had once slept peacefully under the illusion of humanity's weakness. The Zerithian collective had underestimated the humans, and now they paid a heavy price. Yet even as the first shockwaves of the human strike spread, the Empire began to retaliate with brutal force. On the bridge of the Resolute, Commander Jareth Kellen surveyed the expanding battlefield. Reports flooded in from all directions. Battles raging at distant colonies, civilian transports under attack, alien fleets forming defensive lines. Mira Solon, beside him, tried to keep pace with the constant stream of information. "They're coming faster than we expected," she said. "Multiple fleets converging on our positions." Jareth's expression remained calm, though his mind raced. "We anticipated this. Humanity is not just fighting, we are adapting. Prepare the fleet for multiple engagement points. Prioritize civilian safety, then offensive operations. No hesitation." Below, human engineers worked feverishly in orbit, repairing damaged ships even as fighters zoomed past, intercepting incoming attacks. The humans were relentless, their efficiency born of desperation and determination. Every strike against them only hardened their resolve. Unlike other species, humans did not crumble under fear. They fought with ingenuity, courage, and a stubbornness that no alien army had fully understood. In the middle of the chaos, the first true battle of attrition began near the mining colonies of Draconis the Fair. Alien ships unleashed torrents of energy blasts, tearing through orbital defenses. Human fighters weaved through the destruction, retaliating with precision strikes. Explosions lit the void like deadly fireworks, painting the darkness in shades of fire and steel. Jareth's voice cut through the comms, firm and commanding. Focus on their supply lines. Cut them off. Show them that humanity does not break. From the control station, Mira's fingers moved rapidly across consoles. She guided evacuation pods away from danger, calculated intercept vectors for human fighters, and coordinated counterattacks. Every human on the battlefield moved with purpose. They were not just soldiers. They were the embodiment of a species that had suffered too long. In a distant quadrant, Vorath, the Zerithian commander, seethed with frustration. His fleets had always conquered, always subdued. He had never faced an enemy like humans, an enemy that fought with courage, compassion, and unpredictability. These creatures are unworthy of mercy, he hissed. Destroy them before they spread this rebellion further. But humans were not so easily destroyed. Boarding teams infiltrated alien ships, dismantling weapons and disabling engines from within. Strategic strikes disrupted command networks. Civilian colonies, once at the mercy of alien overlords, became rallying points for human resistance. Every victory, no matter how small, ignited hope across the galaxy. Jareth allowed himself a brief moment of reflection. The weight of command was crushing, but in every report, in every successful evacuation, in every alien ship that fell to human ingenuity, he saw proof of what humanity could achieve. They were underestimated. They were dismissed. And they were rising not as victims but as conquerors of their own destiny. Mira watched the stars streak past the observation deck. Do you think they understand yet? She asked quietly. Jareth's gaze hardened. They will. Every empire, every commander who thought we were weak will know. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not kneel. And humanity will fight for every star it can reach. In the void, explosions continued to flare like distant suns, yet amidst the chaos, humanity's light shone brighter. It was not just firepower. It was courage, spirit, and determination that no alien empire had faced before. The war had escalated, but so had humanity. The galaxy was learning, painfully, that humans were not a species to be controlled. And somewhere in the quiet heart of space, Jareth knew this was only the beginning. The flames of war were rising, but so was humanity. The war had spread like wildfire. Systems that had once been peaceful were now scarred by destruction. Smoke and debris from shattered stations drifted across starfields, and alien fleets that once laughed at humanity now moved with caution and fear. But victory did not come without cost. On the bridge of the Resolute, Commander Jareth Kellen watched the battle unfold. Reports of losses filtered in constantly. Ships that had fought bravely now floated lifelessly among the stars, their crews gone. Mira Solon, standing at his side, felt a lump in her throat as she typed coordinates to reroute fleeing civilians. Every report reminded her that even in triumph, humanity paid dearly. Jareth clenched his fists. Every life matters, he said quietly. We are strong, yes, but we cannot forget who we are. We fight to survive, but we also fight to protect. Below, boarding teams stormed alien vessels, fighting not just for victory but for the civilians trapped inside. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and chaos reigned within the metal corridors of enemy ships. Human soldiers moved with determination, covering one another, refusing to leave anyone behind. Even as explosions tore through sections of the ships, they pushed forward, guided by loyalty, courage, and the knowledge that the galaxy was watching. Meanwhile, Vorath, the Zerithian commander, grew more desperate. His fleets had underestimated humanity once, but he refused to admit defeat. He deployed massive shockwaves of energy toward human-controlled colonies, hoping to break their morale. Entire systems went dark as cities burned and colonies screamed in panic. Jareth's eyes softened for a brief moment as he saw the streams of civilian evacuation pods moving through the chaos. We cannot fail them, he said. Not now, not ever. The battle raged on in distant quadrants. Human fighters darted between blasts, their small frames outmaneuvering the larger, slower alien warships. Even against overwhelming odds, they struck decisively, disabling alien weapons and saving countless lives. But each victory was marked by loss, a fighter destroyed, a friend gone, a colony scarred forever. In one particularly harrowing engagement, a squadron led by Captain Leora Venn was ambushed while protecting a refugee convoy. Their ship took direct hits, engines failing, hull cracking. They fought valiantly, holding the alien fleet long enough for civilians to escape. Leora's last words over the comms were steady, calm, almost gentle. "We will protect them. Always. Hold the line." Then silence. Jareth felt a tightness in his chest. Every sacrifice, every life lost, fueled his determination. Humanity was not just fighting to survive. They were fighting to prove that courage, compassion, and defiance could overcome oppression. Every lost hero became a symbol, a spark that would ignite the resolve of those still standing. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "They see us now," she said softly. "They see who humans really are." Jareth nodded. "Yes, they see strength. They see hope. And they will learn that humans never surrender, no matter the cost." Across the galaxy, whispers of humanity's deeds spread among other species. Tales of courage, of sacrifice, of entire fleets fighting against impossible odds reached ears that had never considered humans worthy of respect. Even allies of the Zerithians began to doubt their power. The stars were still burning, the void still filled with the cries of war, but amidst it all, humanity shone brighter than ever. Every loss carried a lesson. Every victory carried a promise. And for Jareth, Mira, and every human fighting in the fleet, the truth was simple. The galaxy had underestimated them for too long, and in the shadows of sacrifice, humanity's light grew unstoppable. The galaxy had begun to feel the true weight of humanity. For centuries, humans had been underestimated, dismissed as fragile and insignificant, but now they were everywhere, in the heart of battle, in the skies above beleaguered colonies, and even deep within enemy fleets. Their strikes were precise, their courage unyielding, and their determination impossible to ignore. On the bridge of the Resolute, Commander Jareth Kellen watched as reports came in. The humans were not merely defending, they were taking the fight to the oppressors. Entire alien supply lines had been destroyed, key command ships disabled, and colonies previously under alien control were now beginning to rise against their invaders. Lieutenant Mira Solon pointed to a holographic map. "We've intercepted intelligence from multiple sectors," she said, her voice steady but filled with awe. "The Zerithians are in chaos. Their fleets are fragmented. We can push forward and hit their core worlds before they regroup." Jareth allowed a small, grim smile. "Then that is exactly what we will do. Humanity does not wait. We strike, we protect, and we never ever falter." Across the war-torn sectors, humans had become a symbol of hope. Colonists who had been oppressed for generations now saw the light of freedom in the human fleet. Fighters and ground forces moved with uncanny coordination, rescuing civilians, neutralizing enemy positions, and establishing safe zones for those caught in the crossfire. Even the smallest human settlement became a fortress of resistance, a testament to human ingenuity and courage. In one of the fiercest engagements, a small human fleet led by Captain Leora Ven's second-in-command, Commander Rin Taylor, intercepted an entire Zerithian battalion that had cornered a human colony on Arden Prime. The aliens had numerical superiority, vast firepower, and confidence born of centuries of conquest. Yet the humans fought with an audacity that defied logic. Rin's voice came over the comms. "Focus fire on their command ships. Break their formation. For every human life, we take 2 of theirs." Explosions rippled through the alien battalion as human fighters darted through the chaos, disabling weapons, cutting engines, and saving civilians. The aliens had never encountered an opponent so daring, so unafraid, and so unwilling to surrender. Panic spread among their ranks as human boarding teams infiltrated their ships, dismantling systems from within. Back on the Resolute, Jareth felt a surge of pride and sorrow at once. Victory came at a cost. Every engagement took its toll, every fight demanded sacrifice. But the humans had learned that strength was not just in technology or numbers, it was in unity, spirit, and the refusal to bow to tyranny. Mira leaned close to him. "They are beginning to fear us. The galaxy's oldest empires. They're beginning to realize we are not prey." Jareth nodded slowly. "Yes, and fear is a teacher they cannot ignore. They will remember the day humanity stopped being ignored. The day we said, 'Enough.' The day we took our place among the stars." Even among the remnants of enemy fleets, whispers of human defiance spread. Alien soldiers spoke in hushed tones of the humans' unpredictability, their courage, and their relentless will. Some began to question their leaders, wondering how such a young, Supposedly weak species could strike with such precision and resolve. In the orbital skies above Epsilon Prime, the human fleet held formation, lights blinking like stars of defiance. They were battered, some ships damaged, but the spirit of humanity was unbroken. Every human life lost had been honored. Every victory had been hard-earned, and every moment of courage had reshaped the perception of an entire galaxy. Jareth looked at the stars, feeling both the weight of command and the exhilaration of triumph. Humanity had turned the tide, but the war was far from over. Yet one truth burned brighter than any weapon or shield. Humans did not flee. Humans did not surrender. And now, the galaxy would learn that humanity's fight was not just for survival, it was for its place among the stars. The tide had turned, and humanity's roar would echo through the void forever. The war had reached its fiercest point. Systems were scarred, colonies burned, and fleets shattered. Yet amidst the chaos, humanity's spirit shone brighter than ever. For every human life lost, a dozen victories were won, and every act of courage became a beacon for the galaxy to see. Commander Jareth Kellen stood on the bridge of the Resolute, his eyes scanning the holographic map of the battlefield. The enemy was regrouping, desperate to strike back, but human forces had anticipated their moves. Every fleet, every squadron, and every rescue operation was executed with precision. Yet Jareth knew this battle would demand more than skill or strategy. It would demand heart. Lieutenant Mira Solon stood beside him, her hand brushing against the railing. "They're attacking civilian zones again," she said quietly, her voice tight with emotion. "People we've sworn to protect. We can't let them suffer." Jareth clenched his fists. "Then we fight. Not just for victory, but for every human, every innocent life. The galaxy may think we are reckless, but this is who we are. Humanity does not abandon its own." The Resolute launched into the heart of the conflict. Fighters swarmed like swarms of silver lightning, dodging blasts, weaving through explosions, and striking alien ships with calculated fury. Boarding teams moved swiftly, disabling weapon systems and freeing prisoners trapped in alien vessels. The humans' efficiency and courage seemed to defy logic, even as casualties mounted. In one of the fiercest confrontations, Captain Leora Venn led a team into the heart of a Zerithian command ship. Explosions rocked the vessel, alarms screamed, and fires raged through its corridors. Her team fought bravely, protecting one another, carrying wounded comrades, and pushing forward despite overwhelming odds. Every step they took was a testament to human courage, every sacrifice a proof that humanity's spirit could not be crushed. Below, civilian evacuation pods streamed through space, carrying families to safety. Children stared wide-eyed at the chaos outside, holding hands with parents whose hearts trembled with fear and hope. And yet, even in these moments of terror, humanity's resolve remained unbroken. Every life saved, every family protected, strengthened the humans' determination. In the enemy's command chambers, panic began to spread. Vorath, the Zerithian commander, watched his forces crumble under unexpected precision and relentless spirit. "How can such a young species fight with this courage?" he demanded, rage and disbelief coloring his voice. "They should not have survived this long." Jareth's voice echoed across comms to his fleets. "They counted us weak. They counted us small. They were wrong. Fight not for fear, fight for hope. Fight for humanity." Every human soldier, every pilot, every crew member felt the weight of those words. And every one of them carried it forward into the battle. They were not invincible, but their courage, compassion, and determination made them unstoppable in a way the galaxy had never seen. As the battle raged on, Mira watched as human ships rescued civilians trapped in debris fields, shielded colonies under attack, and struck at the enemy with unwavering precision. "We are more than fighters," she whispered. "We are hope. We are humanity." Jareth placed a hand on her shoulder. "And hope cannot be destroyed," he said. "They can try, they can fight, they can rage, but humanity endures. Humanity stands. And humanity will win." Across the stars, the tide of war began to shift. The enemy faltered not just from weapons, but from an unshakable will they could not understand. Humans were more than soldiers. They were protectors, innovators, and symbols of defiance. The galaxy could fight them, but it could not break their hearts. And in the heart of humanity, even as explosions lit the void and fleets clashed around them, burned a simple truth: humanity would never kneel. Humanity would never surrender. Humanity would never be ignored. The war had reached its heart and humanity stood at its center, resolute, defiant, and unbroken. The final battle had arrived. The galaxy's most powerful empires converged, determined to crush humanity once and for all. Entire fleets darkened the void, bristling with weapons, shields glowing like molten fire. The Zerithians and their allies believed victory was inevitable. They believed humans could not withstand such overwhelming force. But humanity had already shown that they were not ordinary, not fragile, and not weak. Commander Jareth Kellen stood on the bridge of the Resolute, his eyes scanning the immense battlefield, every flicker of light representing lives, courage, and hope. Around him, human ships hummed with life, engines ready, weapons locked. The fleet was battered, scarred from weeks of relentless fighting, yet its heart, the human spirit, burned brighter than ever. Lieutenant Mira Solon spoke, her voice calm yet firm. "They think this is the end. They think we will surrender." She paused, her eyes locking with Jareth's. "They don't know who we are." Jareth allowed himself a small, proud smile. "Then let us remind them." The human fleet surged forward, moving as one, weaving between alien fire and debris, their coordination flawless, their courage unstoppable. Explosions rippled through enemy lines as human long-range cannons struck vital points, crippling command vessels and supply ships. Fighters darted like silver lightning, intercepting incoming attacks and saving countless civilians from certain death. Every move was precise, every strike intentional, every human heart beating with defiance. In the chaos, boarding teams led by Captain Leora Venn and Commander Rin Taylor infiltrated enemy flagships. Hallways shook with explosions, alarms screamed, and fire consumed alien decks. Yet the humans advanced, protecting each other, rescuing prisoners, dismantling the enemy from within. Every act of bravery, every sacrifice became a testament to the unstoppable nature of humanity. From orbit, the humans could see the galaxy beginning to change. Signals from once silent worlds lit up with rebellion. Civilizations long oppressed by alien empires joined the fight, inspired by the courage and determination of the humans. What began as a struggle for survival had grown into a movement, a roar that echoed across countless star systems. Vorath, the Zerithian commander, watched in disbelief as his fleets faltered and crumbled. His arrogance, his centuries of domination could not withstand the fury of a species he had underestimated. "Impossible," he growled. They should have fallen." Jareth's voice cut through the comms, calm yet full of authority. "We have not fallen. We will not fall. Humanity survives, fights, and endures. And now the galaxy will know. We are not to be ignored." In that moment, a coordinated strike shattered the enemy's command network. Ships lost coordination, morale collapsed, and the overwhelming alien fleets began to retreat in chaos. The humans pressed forward not just with weapons but with courage, unity, and a will that no empire could crush. On Epsilon Prime, civilians watched the final moments unfold on wide screens. Tears streaked faces as the human fleet struck with unstoppable precision. Children clutched their parents' hands, their eyes shining with awe. Humanity had fought and humanity had won, not through cruelty but through heart, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit. Jareth stood on the bridge of the Resolute, breathing deeply. Around him, his fleet celebrated in quiet, disciplined relief. Losses had been many, sacrifices immense, but the galaxy had changed forever. Humans were no longer prey. Humans were no longer dismissed. Humans had claimed their place among the stars. Mira placed her hand on his shoulder, her eyes glimmering with pride and exhaustion. "We did it," she whispered. "No," Jareth replied, his voice strong yet gentle. "We did not just survive. We reminded the galaxy that humanity is not small, not weak, and never to be underestimated. We stood, we fought, and we won. And the stars, they will remember our roar." Above them, the galaxy stretched, vast and infinite. The light of countless stars reflected off the victorious human fleet, each ship a testament to courage, sacrifice, and unbreakable spirit. Humanity had endured the impossible, faced overwhelming odds, and emerged triumphant, and in that moment, the universe knew, beyond a shadow of doubt, that humanity had arrived and no force, no empire, would ever make them bow again. Humanity had said enough, and the galaxy would never forget.